Good morning and welcome to the first of a two-day morning porridge. Today it's April the 8th, 2026. The big risk is no longer oil, it's political credibility. Let's start off with a quote, a famous one from classic mythology. If you attack Persia, a mighty empire will fall. Last night, Trump took the off-ramp. Markets are soaring, off to the races as the threats of global slowdown, recession and stagflation recede. But for all the military power and competency that was on display, it's looking like a strategic defeat for the USA. That has massive implications for US assets, treasuries, stocks, investment, market confidence, and for politics. Now, as I said, today is going to be a double porridge morning. I'm going to be out later this morning with a second morning porridge, which is announcing a new book that publishes tomorrow with my name all across it, but more of that later. But first, let's have a little rant about what happened yesterday. President Trump took the ceasefire off-ramp last night. Joy unconfirmed across markets, and in the next few days, oil, gas, and the rest will likely flow out the Strait of Hormuz. Trump will claim the credit, but will anyone pay much attention to him? There will still be oil dislocations, and there will be uncertainty as to what follows, but this morning, markets believe it's all over. And it probably is, because Trump is a creature of limited patience, as evidenced by the recent tone of his Truth Socials. He was very aware that Iran had become a difficult-to-win war, impossible in the time frame before the US midterm elections. He has therefore taken the easy option. He will say he's won, but he's walking away from an unfinished fight. The Americans will leave assets in the region and tell everybody that they're ready, and we've seen this many times before. A humiliated and wounded Donald Trump is not a positive for the US political economy, for bonds, stocks, and the inward investment that Trump thinks has been promised to him by other states, or for market confidence. Brand America has been tarnished. Trump punched the hornet's nest, but it's still there. Iran may be pockmarked by piles of rubble, but the real damage is the accumulative effect on American credibility. Some think that Trump is accelerating into angry irrelevancy. The real question to ask is who and what replaces him on the 2028 ballot. And that's a worrying picture, a black hole of political polarization as the Democrats continue to amble around in leaderless shock, while the Republicans still don't seem to get that their party has been captured from underneath them by the right. MAGA strategists know it will make sense to retain Trump in place, to keep the political instability pot boiling over, trying to persuade American voters it's best to stay the course with him and only the US right has a plan, and watch for divergence in cabinet as the Rubio and Vance camps seek to present themselves as the voice of sweet reason. Iran now looks to be a strategic defeat for America. Militarily, the Yanks literally smashed it. In terms of global influence and power projection, though, not so much, and that's what actually counts. China was closely involved in last night's deal, advising Iran to give Trump the off-ramp. That suits China well. They've watched the US military expend munitions at a prestigious rate, collected plenty of data on how the American military has performed and how they fight, and they know there are limited US assets, resources elsewhere. Economically, they emerge stronger as the threat of global recession or stagnation recedes, and they have Iranian oil back online and now have options to strike new deals across the Gulf with states that understand that China has leverage in Tehran. Never interrupt your enemy as they make mistakes has been the watchword for Emperor Xi. The critical issue is the Strait of Hormuz. Iran still has the keys. Ceasefire or not, Iran has thousands of sea mines it can close off the strait with at any time of its choosing, a card China will hold close. So what really happened in DC last night? I guess we'll have to wait for the post-Trump memoirs to come out and before a full picture emerges, but it will not enhance the credibility of the Trump regime. One of my well-connected DC chums called me yesterday to tell me Trump would find an off-ramp. Don't call it taco, Trump always chickens out, he told me, but he then went on to describe Trump's current position as that of a cornered rat. His threats to bomb the crazy bastards back into the Stone Age misfired badly with the otherwise somnambulant Republicans in Congress. The military, which had delicately advised him against the war, is beginning to find a voice and was deeply unhappy at the legality of orders to bomb civilian infrastructure. There is rising dissent in the Pentagon. Secretary of Defense Hegseth looks to be on borrowed time and will likely be the next Trump cabinet member to be shown the door. The financial markets are asking tough questions about Treasuries. Meanwhile, the MAGA faithful are turning against him. Internationally, is anyone really fooled? Does anyone believe this was great man diplomacy? No, this was about reality games, and the Gulf states find themselves with a still intact but wounded Iran on their borders. Israel remains determined to fight a war in Lebanon. It looks like the real beneficiaries are China and Pakistan. Pakistan's last-hour intervention to broker a ceasefire was actually brokered through World Liberty financial founder Zachary Witkoff, son of Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff, and he was working with his crypto brothers in Islamabad. The Trump brothers, of course, are on the board of World Liberty. Pakistan is now America's regional sounding board. Premier Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir are now Trump's closest friends in Asia, ever since Trump insulted India Premier Narendra Modi over the deal he claimed to have personally sorted out during the last outbreak of fisticuffs between India and Pakistan. Trump believes he has a relationship with Pakistan. You see how this works. It's not state diplomacy, but crony capitalism. And that's not a good look when trying to sell US Treasury bonds. The surest way to bankrupt a nation is through currency debasement, corruption, and the breakdown of law. The reality is that Pakistan is now not only close to the USA, but very close to China, and it was Chinese standoff anti-air missiles that administered the slapping to the Indian Air Force last year. Yet again, Trump is aligning the USA with the China-Russia axis. Meanwhile, what will Europe do? Trust is a very finite thing. Anyways, as I said, I'll be back again with another morning porridge later this morning. And in the meantime, you can find the morning porridge on www.morningporridge.com. And if you sign up, you get it delivered fresh to your inbox every morning. Thanks very much. Back with more later.